What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video here today. Back for round number 12 of career mode here today, the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. One which I've been quite looking forward to for many reasons. Number one, well, we're basically halfway into the season. Second half of the season, really, you could basically say. And well, as you can probably see on screen, we have a new livery for this race. Just a one-off. This is not like a permanent livery change for the car, for the team, or anything like that. But considering it was the British Grand Prix and I saw this particular livery, and well, how could you not run it at the British Grand Prix? I mean, it's basically the British flag plastered on the side of the car, so you know, it just made sense to run it, and I did want to do something different, so you know, this just felt like the optimal time to do it, so we did. But practice one, we got through it fairly easily, no real struggles with any of the practice programs. Lance Stroll topping the session for Racing Point, so there'll be undoubtedly more protests going on from the likes of Renault and Ferrari, but anyway, over to FP2 now, and I think this is actually where we did the qualifying pace practice program. I can't remember if we actually passed that or not. I'm just trying to think back. Actually, no, I don't think we did. I think we actually failed the qualifying pace practice program. That was actually extremely hard to get. It was ridiculous how hard that was to actually complete. I think we ended up like 7/10 down at the end of the lap, and I felt like I actually put in an absolute stonker of a lap, but yeah, apparently it just wasn't enough. But anyway, I think it was 14th at the end of FP2 there for us, so not the best, but you know, we could be doing worse. We could be further down. I think that was what 896 resource points now. Rivalry, as you can see there with Pierre Gasly, 13-11. Gasly still with a 2-point lead, so we've got to try and claw some of that back here today if we can. Not going to be the easiest thing to accomplish. The AI are extremely quick around here. We've got the AI difficulty set to 109. This is going to be a very tricky Grand Prix, but we'll do our best. And well, let's go and see where we end up, shall we? Alright, so here we are, guys, qualifying for the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone, running our beautiful one-off livery here. I actually really like the way this looked out on track, so hopefully it might be able to bring us a little bit of luck. Across the line for our first lap, not a great one, it must be said, 25.0. That is by no means the absolute max of what we could do. So we go out again at the end of the session. We're only about a 1/10 and a half up though as we come to the final couple of corners. Schumacher just ahead of us in P19. We're going to improve by around 2.5 tenths to a 24.7. Where does that put us? It is only P20. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think that means we have actually been beaten by Mick Schumacher as well. So, wow, that's a bit of a kick in the teeth there, really, isn't it? Okay, so here are the results. Let's go and have a look-see. Valtteri Bottas tops FP1, Alex Albon P2, Leclerc, Verstappen, Ocon, Norris, Ricardo, Vettel, Hamilton down in 9th. He won't be too pleased with that. Stroll in P10, but I think we have been out-qualified by our teammate. I'm pretty sure that my memory has at least gotten that part right. I'm sure I'll scroll down in a moment. There we go. And let's have a look. And yes, we have, by 0.3 of a second as well. Man, he didn't just pip us by a tiny bit. Mick Schumacher has legitimately out-qualified us here today. Wow, that's actually somewhat impressive.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. Your teammate beat you today. Was it a setup issue or something else?
That is actually an interesting question. I'm not sure what it was. The lap felt good, the car was feeling good, but maybe 109 difficulty is just too much.
How will not making Q3 affect your strategy tomorrow?
I think that's a bit of a one-sided question, as I think we've only made Q3 once or twice so far, and we still managed to score points even from the back.
Interesting result today. Would you say that you're happy with your performance?
So once again, she just completely contradicts what she asked us about 20 seconds ago. I don't know.
What exactly was it you weren't happy about?
She's throwing all the questions at us today, boys. I don't really know if there's anything in particular. Like I said, the car felt good. I felt like the lap was good, but the pace in the end was just not there.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Alright, thank you very much, Claire. Lovely work as always. Yes, that was sarcasm for anybody wondering. But anyway, looking at the rivalry, we once again lose out to Pierre Gasly. So that is not going to help us out at all. We're now 3 points behind and only 2-3 races to go. So we're on the back foot here. We actually need to outperform Gasly, and we really need to start doing it well, now in today's video. So hopefully we could try and take the fight to the Frenchman. No idea where he actually starts. We'll find out in a few moments anyway. Now, one quick thing to say for the race. I did actually turn the AI difficulty down to 108, as I expected. If I left it on 109, that was going to be just way too difficult. And I can safely say putting it back to 108 was the right call. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into the British Grand Prix and see just how we go.
We return once again then to the home of British motorsport and the birthplace of the Formula One World Championship. It's race day here at Silverstone, and it's time for the British Grand Prix. The 3.6 miles of the Silverstone circuit in Great Britain is hallowed ground to the Formula One faithful. We have 18 corners that wrap around this former World War II airbase and some good passing opportunities at the end of the DRS zones. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn one. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are three main things to worry about there, Crofty: positioning, awareness and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Hamilton, Vettel, Max Verstappen and Albon, Ricciardo, Norris, Sainz and Lance Stroll, Kvyat, Ocon, Pierre Gasly and Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Sergio Perez and Mick Schumacher. Lee, Russell, Latifi and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Alright, so here we are guys on the grid of the British Grand Prix. No waffling here today, let's just get right into it. Strategy, we're going to start on the mediums, go long, hopefully that'll help us later on. But 5 red lights, and away we go for the British Grand Prix. Not the best start, it must be said initially, but the secondary part, very good. We get bursts of wheel spin though, and that allows George Russell to get past us. We're going to look around the outside of a couple of drivers. We've got Perez and Russell. Now we're going to look to the inside, and I think we should get a few more positions here, side by side with our rival Pierre Gasly. That is very good if we can actually keep him behind. Now side by side with Esteban Ocon, and I think we've got him. And yes, we do. So that's up to P12. So 8 positions gained in the span of like 4 corners. So an awesome start here at the British Grand Prix. Lance Stroll, Danny Kvyat next up. I think that might be a bit hard to try and make any attempt to pass those guys, as like I said, they're in way better cars. They're on the softs, so they're on a faster tyre. They're in better cars, and yeah, I think it's just going to be a real tough challenge to even try and score points today, to be honest. From watching other people's videos, I know how OP the AI are around here, and this is with them actually knocked back to 108, like I said before the race. So yeah, if this is 108, I'd hate to know what 110 would look like. But anyway, on to lap 2, coming down into Maggots and Beckett's, Ocon was looking for a move up the inside there. I wasn't actually sure if he was going to go for it, so I kind of half-heartedly went to turn in for the corner, ready to turn out of it if I had to. But luckily he didn't try and keep his nose in that gap, as there really wasn't room, let's be honest. But anyway, on to lap 3 now. Bit of scrapping going on behind us, it looks like. Raikkonen and Gasly now up to 13th and 14th. And all of a sudden, we've got a 2-second gap to the group behind. So I'm not too sure what is going on there. But yeah, anyway, that gave us a little bit of breathing room for about 2 laps. But as you can see, coming on the back straight now, here comes Pierre in the AlphaTauri. DRS probably rich, overtake no doubt enabled, and there's just nothing we can do against our rival. He blows past us round the outside into Stowe, and there's nothing we can do to try and fight back. Kimi Raikkonen right behind us as well, so we've got to keep an eye out for the Alfa Romeo driver. But yeah, things are really starting to go downhill a little bit for us. After the start was absolutely brilliant, now we're starting to fall back through the order a little bit. Our pace has really dropped off, and we are seriously struggling. Speaking of struggling, that is a racing point, I believe, of Sergio Perez. It was just at a massive engine failure out of the Maggots-Beckett section. We'll go back and have a look at that in a moment, but that was a massive engine failure for the Mexican there. Undoubtedly, yes, he is out of the session. Not too sure what the reason behind that was. Let's go and have a look at this from the replay cam. Looking at Kimi Raikkonen, and you can see in the background smoke just pours out of the back of that pink Mercedes. And that is Sergio Perez's British Grand Prix, done and dusted here today. Didn't even make it halfway, so he will not be happy. We'll be definitely having a few words with the team afterwards, I wouldn't mind betting. But anyway, on to lap 8 now. Still managing to hold Kimi Raikkonen at bay. Gasly hasn't exactly gotten away from us as quickly as I would have expected. Gap's only about 1.5, but in saying that, I am pushing like an absolute madman to try and keep up with him, but at the same time trying to defend from Kimi Raikkonen. In the end, I just decided to basically let him go there, as I felt like if we tried to fight that, we were just going to slow each other up even more. And yeah, any hope that there might be of potentially stealing a point at the end of the race is going to be thrown out the window. But I think a points finish is already out the window, to be honest, guys. The top 10 are like 6-7 seconds up the road, and they'll be stopping for a fresh set of mediums, if not this lap, probably the next, where we're still going to have to go another 5 laps. So I don't know, fingers crossed that the pace advantage when we switch over to the softs is enough to have a run back at these guys. But yeah, as you can see on the lap 10 now, still just about within DRS of Kimi Raikkonen. That's a warning for exceeding track limits. Or it wouldn't be a career mode episode without seeing one of them at some point. But anyway, on to what are we now, lap 15. We actually find ourselves in second position at the moment, as all of the AI have made their stops, apart from Charles Leclerc. Now, I think the Ferrari is actually on an opposite strategy, just like us. So, be interesting to see how the race turns out for him. But on to the end of lap 15, Leclerc pits for a set of softs, and we follow him in. That allows Bottas and Hamilton to go through, so Mercedes will retake the lead of the British Grand Prix. No big surprise there, let's be honest. But Anyway, turning our attention to the other side of the garage for a few moments, Mick Schumacher. Once again, I think he's battling around 17th, 18th, around that area. Really disappointing, to be fair, as I feel like Schumacher just isn't performing as much as what you would expect. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we might have to look at a new teammate for season 2. I don't know. We'll wait and see how he performs towards the back end, but if he doesn't start bringing in those good results, we might definitely have to look elsewhere. But anyway, we re-emerge on track just ahead of Antonio Giovinazzi. We've got about 4 seconds to Kimi Raikkonen ahead, who in turn has got about 4 seconds to Pierre Gasly. So, unfortunately, looking at the gaps, I don't think we're going to beat our rival here today, unless he has a massive engine failure or something. But anyway, cutting on to the end of lap 17, I basically decided it was time to, the hammer time effectively. I put in like 2 or 3 absolute qualifying laps, the best I could possibly muster. And we got the gap down to both Gasly and Raikkonen. As you can see, Kimi only about 2 seconds ahead. Gasly now down to 7 seconds. So we were catching them at a rate of knots here to begin with. But by the time we got to about lap 20, 21, the tyres just really lost their edge, and that was a real confusing bit for me. As
this pace is strong, but be aware your tyres need to go the distance.
Thanks, Jeff, for interrupting. The tyres had only done like 4 or 5 laps, but they just completely lost their edge, and slowly but surely Gasly and Raikkonen were actually able to pull away again. So yeah, I'm not too sure what the deal is there. The wear on the softs clearly isn't that great, so yeah, I'm not too sure what to say or think about that. But anyway, on to the final lap of the race now. As I said, Gasly and Raikkonen started to pull away again, and we've got Antonio Giovinazzi coming up behind us now, the second of the Alfa Romeos. So it looks like we're going to be P14 or 15 in this race. Valtteri Bottas, fastest lap en route to victory here at the British Grand Prix. Very well done to the Mercedes driver. Hamilton will more than likely make it the Mercedes 1-2. But through Beckett's section for the final time, onto the back straight now. Giovinazzi, 3/10 back, he's very close. Jeff, you're interrupting at the worst possible time. Here he comes, goes to the outside. We've got no ERS left, no tyres left. We're going to send it up the inside into Stowe. I don't want to give this position up. Now down to the final 2 corners. Giovinazzi trying to look around the outside, but no way through for the Italian. And we are just going to hang on for P14 here today. Not too bad.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
So, another fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. So let's review the updated driver standings. Not the result our points leader wanted, but it certainly makes things interesting going forward. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant? It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
Alrighty, so there we go guys, the British Grand Prix is officially done and dusted here today for Season 1. Valtteri Bottas takes the win for Mercedes, with the fastest lap, so 26 points for the Mercedes driver. Lewis Hamilton home in P2, undoubtedly won't be too pleased with that, as yeah, no secret, you always want to win your home race, but oh well, not quite this year. But Ferrari 3-4, Red Bull 5-6, but for us it's P14, Mick Schumacher down in 19th in the end. So yeah, we definitely might have to look at other options come the end of the season. But anyway, championship standings, we still sit P9 in the drivers. Constructors, we still sit P9. So all in all, while we didn't gain much, we didn't lose anything. So a good weekend in general.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. You were cutting your way through the field during the race.
I wouldn't necessarily say we were cutting our way through. We made a real good move at the start, but then from then on we basically just went backwards. So yeah, we made some good moves at the start, but that was basically it.
It's safe to say you're smashing everyone's expectations, isn't it?
Well, I don't know, like, it's a good thing if we are. We're definitely doing better than what I would have expected, to be honest, so hopefully we can keep the momentum going moving forward.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Alright, thank you very much, Claire. So there we go, guys. The British Grand Prix done and dusted here today. Looking at the rivalry, unfortunately we didn't gain anything on Pierre Gasly. We both got 3 points, so we're still at 3 points behind him, which is not too good. As I think, where do we go next? Where do we actually? I think it's Hungary. I think Hungary is the next track on the calendar, so hopefully we might be able to gain something back on him there. But cash wise, 3.6 million, so looking good so far, looking real good.
Boss, this week's income from the sponsors has cleared, and we're making good profit against our running costs.
Well, that is good to know. So it looks like we have a sponsorship renewal here for Atlantic. We're going to go ahead and renew that, as I want to keep that on the car. Now, as I said, guys, regarding the livery, as you can see there in the background, quite nice. I actually really don't mind the look of it. That was just a one-off for today's episode. We'll be going back to the normal one for the rest of the season. I do already have a new livery organised for season 2, so you know, that is that's all set, ready to go. So don't worry about that. Really excited to actually see what you guys think of that, as I actually love it myself. But anyway, R&D wise, looking to see if there's anything we can do regards upgrading our car at the moment. Doesn't really look like there's a hell of a lot we can do, to be fair. Yeah, there's nothing there that we could really do. So looking at the durability side now, definitely think that we're going to try and focus on upgrading this department in particular in the foreseeable future, as durability just isn't really good enough. So we really need to work on that. But anyway, we'll go ahead and advance time now. We do have some upgrades coming on the car, so let's just make sure that all of these go on without any dramas, and it looks like they all have, so happy days.
Our new parts have been completed without issue. They'll be on the car ready for the next race weekend.
And there we go, we have confirmation. So all of our upgrades have gone on the car for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Unfortunately, we're still the second worst car on the R&D tree, apparently. I don't really know if that's true or not, to be honest, because I feel like we've been upgrading fairly well. But yeah, the R&D tree really doesn't show it, so I don't know. Maybe we are technically the second worst car, but anyway, we'll keep on upgrading and we'll be fighting at the front soon enough. Fingers crossed, hopefully, anyway. But that's going to do it for today, guys. If you enjoyed, remember to leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Stay tuned for plenty more. And until the next one, hope you're all well, stay safe. And yeah, until the next video, I'll see you all later. Have a good one.